maybe to a little bit talk about what does it even mean to be black at this point, and if it is different from what it was in the past.
But okay, like just I like that. I like that transition. It's a great one, and I think that to now help with that transition a little bit, let's go back to Barack Obama, and I want to go back to one of his most impressive statements prior to his election to the presidency, which is his Philadelphia address. People like this really just show people themselves that this man is like more than just a black candidate. He's an American candidate. He talked about acknowledging race does indeed exist, and we are not at the point right now where we should be. However, this should not be the thing that defines us, race issues. You see what I'm saying? Because there's much more than that. I talked about, I can give you white parents, Latino parents who work in 3-4 jobs, and their kids are also like living in exactly the same situations as maybe black kids are living in. It's not just about black people. You see what I'm saying? And the question I have is, for example, why is it construed as such? Why do people talk about it as a race issue? Why do people talk about it as a class issue? You know, so we can look at these kinds of things and think about them too. But then again, I feel like Obama appealed to people as a U.S. president, as an American. He was very, very clear when he went to Germany, for example, and gave his speech at the Berlin Wall. He said, I want to speak to you guys as a citizen of the world. I'm an American. See, he said I'm an American.
He is so much.
I'm an American, but also as a part of something larger than just that. And now we can talk about the black thing. Me, for example, my mother is black American and my father is black African. He's a Namibian. I consider myself a black African, even though my biography is one that I've lived all over the world. I was born in the U.S. I was here 4 years. Then I went to Ethiopia. I was there for 4 years too. Then I was in Germany for 6.5 years. Then I was in Namibia for 4 years. Then now I'm back here in the U.S. for college. And in the meantime, I traveled all over the world. You see what I'm saying? My biography has been one where I have interacted with so many different types of people, but I see myself as a black African. But again, what does that mean, black African? I'm a black African, but then again, outside of Baby Neil over here, I relate more to the Africans and also maybe even a lot to the other internationals. So I got friends from China. I have friends from Nepal. I have friends from Cuba. More so than, say, black Americans. But then yet, what makes me a black African? Is it my skin? You see what I'm saying? Like, I say I'm a black African just because for me, I do see black people in this world. Black people, Aborigines. I see the black people in India who are the untouchables in society in their cultural caste system. You've got the Brahmins, who are the lighter skinned Indians who are on top. You've got then the untouchables who are at the bottom, who are the darker skinned, who are oppressed by the majority class. You go to Brazil, the dark skinned Brazilians are there in the ghetto, and the light skinned people are up in the rich neighborhood. You go to Cuba, it's the same thing too. So this is how I look at the world. You see what I'm saying? Now, me being black doesn't make me better than anybody. It just makes me different. And I like difference because I think it's so beautiful when different people can come together and build something new. Because if we all are the same, this idea of this colorless society, I think life is very boring. Because I think that if I want you to notice, this is who I am, this is my biography that I come from, but then yet, me living my biography, I can talk to you having a completely different experience from me, and somehow we can find similarities. Sometimes we can find similarities in our biographies to make us now build something new, either a friendship or something like this.
So about being black?
So what
like,
about
what does it mean for me being black? Well, for me, like, I identify myself as a Zimbabwean, first of all, and I guess that's African in a way. But, you know, the only time I notice, at least I'd see myself as black because of my skin, is when other people define me as that. You know, not when I define myself as black because I have black skin. I see myself as Zimbabwean first of all. But when I go out there and they say you're black, you know, or when they give me a piece of paper and say not your race or whatever, black, whatever, that's when I'm forced from outside forces or external factors to put myself as. Sometimes I even just put other because I don't want to define myself as someone as categorically like pretty much like set for me. You know, that's the problem. So when you go out there, when the country for statistics of how many black people, how many white people, how we've recruited, how many people we've graduated in the past 5 years. So they're defining us as that. But I don't see myself as black because of my skin. I know I'm different because of my skin, but that's a different thing. You know, I mean, that's for me. But
that's interesting because I like how Sheltar put that because what people don't know is that the statistics for black people that graduate from Earlham has drastically changed. It's more Africans, not African Americans. The African American population has went down. I mean, it came up this year, but the African American population has went down, especially African American males. So I think that's interesting in itself. And me being black, I say that I'm black because of my skin color and because I am, and I was born here in the United States of America, and I haven't been anywhere else so far. But I do consider myself to be African American because I am an American first. I haven't been to Africa, but I would like to go one day. But that's where my ancestors came from, and that's where I'm from. I mean, you are what makes what you're made of from the past. So my ancestors come from Africa, so that's still a part of me. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be me. You know, and then the second part of being black, and as an American, I consider myself one of the most dangerous people in the world because I am a black male and I'm educated. So I'm an educated hood African American male. So I'm dangerous.
How so? Dangerous to who?
I'm dangerous to the whole makeup of this system that holds us down. Because yes, I am the American dream. Yes, I have made it through, and you know, dipping and diving through loopholes to be the system that's supposed to keep me down. But at the same time, now that I'm educated, I can see things and I can educate other people, and I can get them through those loopholes, and even help them find their found understanding of what they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to define themselves. And I like the word that you used earlier as far as education. Like, everybody's being educated. It's how you want them to be educated. You know, these kids on these streets, they're being educated to be ruthless, cutthroat.
Because that's your environment.
Right, ruthless, cutthroat. They're in a ruthless, cutthroat business, if you really want to look at it that way. If you switched out the drug trade and you switch it with stocks and bonds, and if it was illegal to sell stocks and bonds, who would be in prison? White males.
I like that. I like looking at that.
So if you put these kids that's on these streets killing and doing all these things to each other to make their next dollar, if you put those kids in a suit and tell them and translate to them what they have to do as far as these stocks and bonds, they'd probably be the most successful stock traders in the world. But yes, I am a danger. I'm dangerous because of my physical appearance, because most people are intimidated by black males, period. And I'm dangerous because I can manipulate their minds and think that I could walk up to somebody in my baggy jeans, my hat, and say, "How are you doing, sir?" And they'd be like, and I can hold an educated conversation with the best of them. And they're like, "Well, he's not like what I thought he was supposed to be."